This book explores two contrasting leadership styles, multipliers and diminishers. It asserts that leading can either expand or diminish the world and capabilities of most of them. Multipliers are leaders who embolden creativity, problem-solving, and growing inside their teams by leveraging the words and talents of others. They ask the right questions, praise others' abilities, and surrogate environs where people could thrive. In contrast, diminishers consider they must be the smartest in the room, as well as damp their team's potential, draining vigor and word from most of them. Through real-world examples and research, Wiseman highlights 5 key behaviors that differentiate multipliers from diminishers. These behaviors are not inherent qualities, but can be learned and developed by anyone, making the principles applicable to all leadership levels. The book provides actionable steps for leaders to become multipliers and increase productivity and engagement within their teams, all while avoiding common pitfalls of accidental diminishers. Wiseman emphasizes that while both types of leaders can achieve results, multipliers do so in a way that builds long-term success by empowering others. The core message is clear. The world needs more multipliers, especially in a time when organizations are expected to do more with fewer resources. By adopting the mindset of a multiplier, leaders can double the output of their teams, foster innovation, and cultivate a more engaged and capable workforce. This book is a practical guide for anyone looking to enhance their leadership abilities, whether in business, education, or other fields. Multipliers versus diminishers, the power of empowering leadership. In her exploration of leadership dynamics, Liz Wiseman differentiates between 2 kinds of leaders, multipliers and diminishers. These approaches have a significant impact on the intelligence, creativity, and capabilities of the teams they lead. Multipliers believe in abundance, developing intelligence, and creating a nurturing environment that allows teams to thrive by empowering individuals to solve problems and present their best ideas. Their belief in growth elevates the performance of those around them, making them smarter and more capable. In contrast, diminishers view intelligence as scarce, hoarding it rather than sharing. They stifle creativity through micromanagement, close control, and a culture where others feel underappreciated. Wiseman's research, alongside Greg McEwen, shows how multipliers amplify collective intelligence while diminishers subdue it, creating dependence and stunting growth. The author identifies 5 disciplines that set multipliers apart. Multipliers attract top talent and foster development, while diminishers limit talent and growth. Multipliers inspire a hunger for intelligence and excellence, while diminishers create fear that suppresses creativity. Multipliers offer stretch goals and growth opportunities, expanding perspectives, while diminishers give straight orders that restrict autonomy. Multipliers encourage open debate and collective decision-making, ensuring ownership, while diminishers make decisions individually, excluding others. Multipliers trust their teams with responsibility, while diminishers micromanage and hoard accountability. Wiseman concludes that multipliers benefit not only from their team's intelligence, but also inspire extraordinary results, creating an environment of both challenge and support, leading to greater performance and fulfillment. In later chapters, Wiseman contrasts 2 more leadership types, talent magnets and empire builders. Talent magnets attract the best talent and create an ongoing cycle of growth and success, with more talent fueling further success. In contrast, empire builders hoard talent for their own benefit, focusing on personal career advancement and not developing others, which leads to stagnation and disengagement. Wiseman argues that talent magnets are exceptional because they recognize and nurture potential, not just in top performers. Ultimately, her work suggests that great leadership is about empowering others to think, grow, and contribute, establishing a culture of success that benefits both people and organizations. The impact of tyrants and liberators on innovation. A different way Wiseman continues this conversation is with another dichotomy: liberators and tyrants. Liberators establish an environment in which people feel safe to think and act freely, but still hold them accountable for hitting the targets. By establishing high standards and leaving room for participation, enabling rapid learning cycles, they are creating an atmosphere ripe for creativity and innovation. By avoiding dominating conversation, actively listening, and being willing to admit mistakes, liberators allow their teams the freedom to discuss radical concepts, experiment, and fail while also leveraging those failures as a learning opportunity. Wiseman cites examples of leaders who have moved from controlling leader habits to collaborative leader traits, like Michael Chong and Robert Enslin of SAP, whose discomfort with building trust approach transformed the capabilities and performance of their teams. On the flip side, tyrants suppress creativity through fear, micromanagement, and unpredictable behavior. While they might achieve short-term results, their environments stifle long-term innovation and team engagement. Tyrants dominate space, dismiss contributions, and judge harshly, leading to a culture of hesitation and mediocrity. By contrast, liberators create hybrid climates that inspire excellence while providing the psychological safety necessary for learning and growth. Wiseman compares this balance to a hybrid car that alternates between modes for optimal performance. Liberators follow a structured path to leadership excellence, focusing on three main practices: creating space, demanding the best in their teams, and encouraging rapid learning cycles. They reduce their dominance by playing fewer chips, limiting their contributions in meetings to encourage others to participate. They clarify their intentions by labeling their opinions as casual thoughts or serious directives, fostering open dialogue and collaboration. Additionally, liberators model vulnerability by discussing their mistakes publicly, thereby normalizing failure as a learning tool. They also define clear boundaries for acceptable risks, helping their teams innovate without jeopardizing critical objectives. Wiseman states that the capacity of a leader is not dictated by the ability to control or manipulate individual memory in the interest of glory. In its place, liberators create environments where trust, teamwork, and continuous improvement maximize the collective capacity of the team. This is realized in environments in which members feel empowered to be their best, take risks, and grow, leading to long-term success for the organization. Becoming a liberator is a work of deliberate commitment to abstain from micromanagement while ensuring a balanced environment where safety and accountability can coexist. This puts the team in a position to create and perform. Challengers, debate makers, and investors, the cornerstones of exceptional leadership. In simple terms, Liz's proposition is clear. Exceptional leaders, those which he called multipliers, should amplify the intelligence and capability of their teams by creating a culture of ownership, challenge, and collaboration. Wiseman digs further into the concept of the debate maker. Leaders, such as Ray Lane at Oracle, encourage inclusive debates in which everyone participates in decision-making to exploit diverse perspectives while guaranteeing process clarity and accountability. Lane's leadership took the risk of enlisting 250 executives in co-creating Oracle's corporate strategy, which not only energized Oracle's staff, but also quadrupled its sales, demonstrating the power of collective intelligence. Decision-makers, who work in silos and isolate their teams without fully realizing their potential, are indicators of such leaders. Wiseman points out that leadership isn't about having all the correct answers, but rather about asking intelligent questions to challenge preconceptions and spark latent creativity. The third archetype, the investor, further illuminates the multiplier mindset. Investors like Larry Jelwicks, who entrusted his rugby team captains with fitness accountability, and Ella Bott, who trained her teams to operate independently, demonstrate that true leadership lies in enabling others to lead. These leaders share ownership of outcomes, coach their teams without micromanaging, and instill a culture of accountability, which fosters confidence and sustained performance. By defining clear ownership and investing resources wisely, investors prepare their teams for autonomy, leaving legacies of empowered individuals capable of thriving beyond the leader's presence. According to Wiseman's paradigm, successful leaders develop settings of trust, empowerment, and intellectual rigor in their teams, allowing them to achieve the remarkable. Her examples and strategies, such as creating chances, setting challenges, and stimulating discussions, provide actionable ideas for leaders across sectors. The comparison between diminisher behaviors, such as micromanagement or controlling decision-making, and multiplier behaviors, empowering, challenging, and motivating, acts as both a warning and a roadmap for transformation. Wiseman's ideas are fascinating and highly relevant in today's fast-changing corporate scene. Organizations are increasingly relying on innovation, agility, and employee engagement to be competitive, and the multiplier structure perfectly fits these requirements. However, while our concepts are motivating, leaders may struggle to shift from diminisher to multiplier practices without major self-awareness and effort. Additionally, The effectiveness of these methods is dependent on company culture. A poisonous or extremely hierarchical atmosphere may oppose the collaborative tactics recommended by Wiseman. How self-awareness and empathy build strong teams. The fact that decreasing behaviors are frequently caused by a leader's worries, pressures, or insecurities and may be lessened by self-awareness and deliberate action is among the most important lessons to be learned from Wiseman's study. An employee can have an impact by setting an example and creating an environment that is more empowering, even if the boss is a diminisher. In addition to assisting in the identification of declining behaviors, Wiseman's framework offers direction for developing a leadership culture that prioritizes development, empowerment, and teamwork. Her focus on the multiplier mindset, self-awareness, empathy, and adaptability provides team members and leaders with a roadmap for overcoming obstacles and maximizing the potential of all parties. She offers a framework for knowing how leaders may hinder or promote team growth by examining the divergent leadership philosophies of investors and micromanagers. Investors empower their people by giving them ownership and accountability, whereas micromanagers control every aspect and foster reliance. By establishing ownership, delegating difficult tasks, investing in coaching for growth, and holding individuals accountable for outcomes, Wiseman encourages leaders to become investors. Instead of fixing issues for teams, the investor's method encourages them to draw lessons from their past mistakes and offer solutions. To avoid overmanagement and a weakened feeling of agency, leaders should also give back ownership to people when they try to do so. Wiseman also discusses the accidental diminisher, leaders who unintentionally undermine their teams. She identifies several types of diminishers, such as the idea fountain, the rescuer, and the pace setter, whose behaviors can reduce the team's sense of ownership and create dependency. Even well-meaning leaders can fall into these behaviors, often out of a desire to help or maintain control. Recognizing and being mindful of these behaviors is essential for fostering a more independent and capable team. The chapters also cover strategies for dealing with diminishers. Wiseman advises against confronting, avoiding, or complying with such leaders, as these responses worsen the situation. Instead, adopting a multiplier mindset, staying curious, building empathy, and changing one's response can help shift the dynamic and foster trust and collaboration. By being proactive and consistent in delivering results, employees can often break the cycle of diminishing behavior. Wiseman also introduces the concepts of the death spiral and the growth cycle, where negative behaviors reinforce each other, versus a positive, transformative cycle, where one party changes their approach, improving the overall dynamic. How to bring out the best in your people. Wiseman asserts that leadership effectiveness doesn't depend exclusively on authority or expertise, but on the leader's ability to elevate the people around them. Importantly, she offers hope for leaders caught in diminishing behaviors, explaining that they can shift their mindset and behaviors through awareness and intentional action. Wiseman identifies a series of accelerators, strategies for leaders to become multipliers, which includes starting with the assumption that people are capable, focusing on leveraging strengths rather than micromanaging weaknesses, and adopting a mindset of trust and empowerment. The core of Wiseman's framework involves creating a culture where intelligence is multiplied. She highlights key leadership disciplines, such as talent magnet, where leaders attract and nurture talent, liberator, where leaders provide freedom while maintaining high standards, and challenger, where leaders push their teams to stretch beyond their current abilities. Leaders are also encouraged to become debate makers, creating a space for thoughtful discussion and diverse viewpoints, and investors, empowering their teams to take ownership without micromanagement. These practices foster an environment where people feel valued, trusted, and challenged to perform at their best. Wiseman also introduces a set of experiments designed to help leaders develop their multiplier capabilities. For example, leaders can supersize a team member's role by giving them more responsibility, helping them grow into a position that stretches their skills. Additionally, leaders are encouraged to talk up their mistakes to normalize failure and encourage risk-taking within their teams. Wiseman's idea is that by shifting from diminishing behaviors to multiplying behaviors, leaders create an environment where innovation thrives and everyone's potential is fully realized. One compelling example of a leadership transformation is that of Bill Campbell, a well-known mentor in Silicon Valley. Originally a diminisher, Campbell micromanaged and stifled his team's creativity. Through mentorship and reflection, He transitioned into a multiplier, empowering his teams by asking better questions, fostering a culture of curiosity, and leading by example. His leadership ultimately contributed to the success of several tech giants, such as Intuit and Apple. Final notes. Multipliers talks about developing a multiplier culture within a business in addition to personal leadership change. Wiseman recognizes the value of rituals which promote the concept of amplifying intelligence, a common language, and shared ideals. To encourage others to follow in their footsteps, leaders are urged to applaud and follow the actions of multipliers. Leaders who put more of their focus on empowering their people than on controlling them are much more likely to encourage creativity and productivity in a time when businesses need to change swiftly. The book's techniques are sensible and based on real-world experiences, which makes it simple to put the ideas into practice. Making the transition from a diminisher to a multiplier involves more than just abstaining from bad habits. It also entails consciously fostering work conditions where team members can flourish. Since many leaders unintentionally engage in diminishing behaviors out of fear or a need for control, Wiseman's emphasis on mindset changes is essential. The first step in creating a workplace that is more dynamic and engaging is acknowledging this. Ultimately, Multipliers offers a blueprint for leaders who want to get the best out of their teams and drive lasting success, and its principles can be applied across industries and levels of leadership.